We're going to be tackling Pure Fiction today, and against the first side versus the Deer, since it's Fire and Ice weak, it's almost asking to be destroyed by Himeko and Herta, so we're just going to use that broken comp and pretty much just evaporate it. And for the teammates, Ranmei and Asta for the duo DPS buffs, essentially, because they're team-wide buffs. And for the buff, I did go for the follow-up equals advance forward, right? Because it's, in my opinion, the damage that you can get from the first one isn't necessary because the enemies are too weak anyways. And the second one is might actually work too. I mean, they all sound kind of good. The second one's kind of good too. But in my opinion, the action advance is probably one of the best ones just because then you can push your characters more and then get more turns, and at the end of the day, that is relatively strong, right? Now, for the other team, it is Jing Yuan super hyper carry, right, with Bronya, Sparkle, and Tingyun. The idea is that we can just give as much energy to Jing Yuan so we can get many ults up, because the ults are going to be a good increase in damage when he's not able to kill everything with the skill, because the skill, as you'll be able to see, doesn't actually get rid of the entire wave. So the ult is good to have to wipe everything out, and I did use the same buff for that one, even though we're not going to be triggering too many Lightning Lords. At the end of the day, if we can just get one more rotation with all our characters, that's more effective than maybe the first one. The second one might actually work better, just because then we'll be able to build up the main buff, right? That's like that nuke thing, and that also might be a good option. But I did just opt for the advance forward on both because I do want the extra action, or actions. So for the first team comp on Himeko, she's going to be on her light cone with a high crit rate, although she's going to lose it obviously because she's not going to be above 80%. And the relics are the same relics I use as always because I don't farm relics. So energy regen also, so we can get a little bit higher ult consistency. And the E1 isn't necessary. The speed is, you'll be able to see in the run. I mean, we have so many actions left at the end of it that it doesn't even matter. And Himeko is the same idea, a high crit rate, so we can trigger high crit rate, although you don't want to focus too much on crit rate because you want the enemies to go under half health with Herta, so you do trigger a good amount of follow-ups as well. And for the light cone, I am using Birth of the Self to increase the follow-up damage, although it's not necessary. You can just use like a breakfast or something, and it's probably just as good. Now for the relics, I just used some, pieces with crit rate and crit damage. Sets don't really matter. I'm even using Rutilant because I don't have another Salsodo set. So that's that. Ranmei is slow because I just like slow Mei even in these kinds of circumstances, although she was missing 2% break effect. That was unfortunate. But Von Wax, so we get a little bit of extra energy, and we can get the ults up a little bit faster, which is good. Bronya is going to be on Planetary Rendezvous just to boost Himeko's damage, and also on a 4-piece speed just to make those ults even stronger. Right. So, that is the team for the first side. So, let's hop into the Wave 1, and then we'll go back to the builds before we start the second one. So, Ranmei's technique followed by everybody else's. Herta does get that massive attack buff for 3 turns, I believe. It was a very, very good technique. And right off the bat, we're going to get some follow-ups triggering, and beautiful. Now we get the damage boost from Ranmei. And after that, we kind of just wait. And we've got the ult on Herta. Why didn't I use the ult on Herta immediately? Well, whatever. There we go. Now I used it. I don't know what I was waiting for, but now one boom, followed by a talent, followed by a bomb, followed by another follow-up, followed by another follow-up, followed by a Ranmei ult. And now that Ranmei ult is going to last for quite a long time because of how slow she is. Although Asta will, I guess, boost her speed, but another follow-up into a... Oh, I guess the follow-up doesn't trigger if the wave changes. Ooh, we missed a little bit of... It didn't go under 50%, so we didn't trigger the follow-up on Herta, but that's fine. There we go. Now we get the follow-up. Now we get another follow-up. Now we get a bomb. Now we'll trigger the speed on Herta, so Herta keeps the speed boost. Although, we're kind of just using Asta for the damage, really. For the global attack buff. Another ult. Another follow-up. Okay, so we're already into the third wave. The second side is a lot tougher with the with the eye that action forwards everybody, because then it is hard without a healer. Now we'll send a beam from space, trigger another follow-up, trigger a bomb, trigger another follow-up. Okay. Maybe we actually should have targeted the left tree just so we got a break. Increased her stacks for her talent, but doesn't matter. We got some breaks into another follow-up, into another follow-up, into a bomb. And now Ranmei does get her ult back, which is nice. And if we can kill all the sprouts before they actually launch their attacks, then we don't have to worry about getting imprisoned from anybody. Or CC'd, whatever they do. Dominate. Oh yeah, they dominate, don't they? Now here we'll weakness break for the talent trigger. Or for the stack, rather. Into another Herta follow-up. Into another follow-up. Into a bomb. Into an ult. Into another follow-up, into another follow-up. Into a bomb. Yeah, the bomb just triggers so fast with this team because of all the follow-ups. But it's almost, this side's almost asking to be destroyed by this combo because it's ice and fire weak. I mean, it's just crazy. Now here we'll hit the fire to get one more stack. And now the ice should get us our last stack, which, oh, it doesn't, I guess. I guess there wasn't a, we weren't able to break that ice enemy, but that's fine. Speed boost everybody, and one slam, into another follow-up, into another follow-up, into a bomb. Honestly, this could be done at auto at this point. I don't even know what's going on. It's just smack, smack, smack. Laser, follow-up, follow-up, bomb. And everything's dead, so now it has the vulnerability, and now it'll just die pretty fast. Boom. 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 And we pushed it in front of 3 cycles. So I guess we have about 3 cycles left. Smack. Oh, and Asta, you get the honors, and you can finish it. Perfect, so let's get into the second side with Jing Yuan. And now for the second side with Jing Yuan, this team, he does have a relatively high crit rate, although honestly, I do actually think I should have boosted up his crit rate a little bit further, because when he misses crits and one enemy survives, it's just rough. So, he is on before dawn, although, you know, Himeko's light cone is so good, but we were using it on Himeko. And I did opt for an attack rope. I was actually considering changing it to an energy regen rope, so I don't actually know which one would perform better in this circumstance. And Bronya is fast, but she is slower than Sparkle. And just a random assortment of sets. I don't even remember if I hit the effect res for Keel, but it doesn't really matter. And Sparkle's also fast, a little bit faster than Bronya, so we do get to advance Jing Yuan and then advance it once more with Bronya. And now Ting Yun is going to be the fastest, and she is going to be on cogs, because a lot of times actually we are going to forego the skill in exchange for just basicking to get the ults up faster, because we want to transfer over the energy to Jing Yuan. Perfect. So let's get into the second side and let's see how that one goes. Now once again we are going to trigger the Lightning Lord thing, and then follow it up by all of our techniques. Now note, the dance is not on Ting Yun, it's on Sparkle, because Sparkle can get the ult up consistently on 3 turns as long as you don't, you know, screw yourself with the TV, because sometimes the enemy will die and then trigger the TV to switch modes, which is unintentional, and it's just kind of annoying. Pretty good. Now we'll get the crit rate bonus, which is extremely important. And advance Jing Yuan once again for another skill. And now if we can trigger both Bronya and Sparkle's ults before Lightning Lord drops, it is pretty good. Because then that main enemy, the big boss, will just die immediately, and then we can get another enemy to enter. But unfortunately we couldn't get Sparkle, so it will survive, but that's fine, really. Now Jing Yuan is going to be like a basic attack spammer in this, even if Benediction is not up, because we do want that energy from Cogs to activate, and when she gets hit by the fish, because it's an AoE attack, she consistently gains like 18, 24 energy or something like that. Now we'll trigger the ult before the action actually goes, so he does keep the crit damage boost from Sparkle, and then we can wipe out the wave. Perfect. So now it's his turn for the second wave, and we got a dog to come out. Nice. Now we'll give him the crit damage boost right before Lightning Lord drops, which is pretty good. Boom. And the bomb is nice when it does eventually drop a couple times, maybe like twice or 3 times by the total at the end of the run. A massive swipe takes out everything, and now how much can this skill do? Hopefully we take out some of the birds. Only one of them. That's fine. That's very good. If it targets Sparkle, it's very good because this team does lack skill points quite a bit, so sometimes you do need to basic with Jing Yuan or even Sparkle sometimes. Unfortunately, everything stayed at a sliver, which is quite unfortunate, but... Perfect, so now we'll enter the eye. Now, one thing to note versus this, Cirrus? Curious? Cirrus? I don't know what that name is, but we do want to keep the ults for every single time he action advances all of the enemies. So, as you can see, we'll get there eventually. Oh yeah, so I guess we ran out of skill points. So, there was the Sparkle basic. So right as soon as they action advance everybody, we'll wipe it out with this because it's just going to shred our team since we don't have a healer. That's actually a good reason why you could use Wo in place of Jing Yuan, and it might actually be a little better. Although it depends if you're aiming for 80,000 points or just to clear it with 60. And now here we're looking just to see if we should do a couple different, shenanigans, because we want the ult up on Sparkle for the skill points, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting. So we did actually opt for a Jing Yuan boost here. That way we can get the ult, and now we can trigger the energy to Jing Yuan because we want his ult up to be every single time, or for it to be up every single time whenever he action advances all of the enemies. Now, it stayed at a sliver, which is unfortunate, but whatever. And now we get the Sparkle ult up, which is beautiful, so that way we can get our skill points back. What are you doing, Sparkle? What are you thinking about, Sparkle? Okay, basic. Why did I do that? I don't remember. I don't remember why I did that. Well, it works, I guess, but... Now, once again, save the ult for the action advance. Although Lightning Lord actually is right. Never mind. Yeah, Lightning Lord gets pushed, so. Beautiful, and now this next wave will get taken out by Lightning Lord. And if we can trigger one more Lightning Lord before this is all over, that is optimal. Because we just want as many attacks as possible. Now here, because Jing Yuan is going to have a couple actions left, we did skill again with Ting Yun, just so that way he does keep Benediction the whole time. That was only possible because we did that basic with Sparkle, because if we had skilled before with Sparkle and then used Jing Yuan's skill, we would have just been out of skill points. So right now we actually have skill points to do stuff, and that explains why I did that basic with Sparkle before. Now there's not too many enemies left, and perfect. So Lightning Lord has been pushed in front of the end of the cycle, which is very, very important. And now we're out of skill points again, so it's like, what do you really do? You can advance Ting Yun, but she's already close, because you can just advance Ting Yun and then basic with her. But since Lightning Lord's already in front, we might as well just go for a basic on Jing Yuan. Now, please don't kill Braun yet. Okay, so that completely got rid of one of our turns with Jing Yuan, but it should be fine because the enemies are dead and we've only got Lightning Lord left. So now we do have one last skill point for this, and oh, okay, we didn't even need Lightning Lord. That would have been a cool little final effect. But I guess that's the end of the double Pure Fiction run, both sides. We did manage to get 40,000 points on both. The second side did take quite a bit of tries because I think initially I was using maybe what was I using on Ting Yun? I was using something on Ting Yun, but then I changed her to Cogs, and it worked beautifully because Cogs on Ting Yun makes the ult uptime on Jing Yuan much higher, and that really, really does help to just increase that ult efficiency, and then also be able to wipe out the enemies before the eye action advances the enemies, because that was the one thing that screwed me over every single time, was whenever the eye would action advance all the characters, I'd just take way too much damage and I couldn't do it. So as you can see, we saved the ult for every single time he action advanced everybody, and then we just wiped it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment any ideas you guys have, any improvements, I appreciate it very much, and of course subscribe. Thanks for watching. Adios.